created FinKey Games. Essentially, it was two-part, an app and a board game. So it was a financial education, like personal finance game geared towards kids and teenagers. Basically, my team and I didn't have like a fully formed concept like years before we competed, but we basically saw a need in our local community. We live in Arizona, and our public mandated state education on economics and personal finance is really reduced to about a semester in your 12th grade year. And so we saw that there was like a need in our community for a little bit more exposure at a younger age to really get the ball rolling. So this is what we came up with. We came up with sort of how to play the game. Here we have like a gameplay demonstration with some images. And we also created a prototype board game with some handmade like cutout cards and figurines in a board. And we also had a simulation app that was a multi-stage life simulation in a sense, where you could budget and manage money. And it was generally a concept that took a few months to come up with. So we really had to find first like a core need that we were addressing. I would definitely echo what Kevin and Alex have been saying about finding those concrete numbers, that research, finding people with better credibility than you to back you up as well. For us, another thing that we found very effective was you only have like 11 to 14 slides. I'm not sure if that's the correct number, but you're very limited on your pitch deck, and you're even more limited on your time with only 5 minutes. So we really want to make your script as compact and not wordy as possible. And you really want to put a lot of images on there that are easy for the judges to process. You don't want to overload them with information. So that's a challenge in itself, that you have to create something that is easily processable, but also it puts your point across. It's very direct. It's very clear. Specifically for us, when we were putting up our statistics, we would have like moving images, animations, less words, more numbers, just like visualization is very important when you're creating a pitch deck, especially in such a short time. Team participation is a big consideration. Like, judges will definitely take note if only one person is speaking the entire time. For us, we also prepared a list of questions. And in general, like specifically for the social innovation track, we really had to think about the specifics of funding. That was like a thing that judges asked about. And another thing is when you're creating these pitch decks and you realize you can't fit some information that you think is key, but you do want to address it, you can, like, when creating your pitch deck, like leave a bit or like a piece of information there that you know judges can ask you about in the Q&A session that you can answer. So that way you can still talk about the content that you want to cover that you think is important. A thing about this process is that it's a continual process of like writing your written concept narrative, then writing your pitch, then presenting. And then once you get to that, judges have questions for you. And during this entire process, you really want to think about the future of what you're going to be doing next. Like, oh, this thing is kind of vague. Maybe we should prepare something for this just in case the judge asks us a question about this. Or when you're cutting information out of your different pieces that you need to turn in, all the judges will be able to see what's in there. So you should be prepared for the things that they might ask about that's not in there.